Hey, thanks for joining me here, Jalemi Sager for In the Pocket. And as you know, I've been just kind of spitballing here, some musings, some things that have come up for me, messages from guidance, some tarot tips, whatever. And yesterday on my Facebook Live, which I do every Monday, by the way, from 2:30 to 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, letting you know you can actually hop on there on Facebook and join us and ask your questions. It's free, it's always free. And we started talking a little bit about, the post COVID and the idea of what normal is. And I've heard a lot of people say they want things to get back to normal. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all want normalcy, right? I mean, and I'm about to say something that I think many of you already know. So it's just a reminder, but I think it's important that we spend some time thinking about what we have experienced over the last year, more than a year, because of COVID. And maybe challenge ourselves a little bit to reflect on what was normal before then and what really shouldn't go back to what we knew was normal. In other words, my personal bias is that I don't ever think that we go backwards about anything. I mean, we're always moving forward. And I got that actually, guidance told me that many years ago, especially during a time when some issues of mine had come back into the forefront of my life. And I thought, oh, I had taken care of that. And so it felt like, and maybe many of you have the same experience, it felt like I'd gone two steps backwards. And at that point, guidance said to me, you never do. You never actually do go backwards, because even if it feels a little bit similar, actually, where you were 2 years ago is not where you are right now. Where you were yesterday is not where you're at today. So you really aren't going back. You actually have moved forward, and we have to give ourselves credit that things do change. And so I'm only suggesting that we maybe stop using that term. Yes, again, my bias, my soapbox. But, with all the meditations I've done and all the information I've gotten from guidance and tarot about this time period, it just feels like it would be healthier if we stopped asking for it to go back to normal and asked ourselves where we can go from this moment forward, taking what we've learned over the last year. And many of us have learned different things, and some of it's been hard. It hasn't been easy. There's grief. I've learned a lot about grief. Many people have. I've learned a lot about being on my own. Many people have. I've learned a lot about patience and what that feels like, more patience in my life. And it's not about a right or a wrong. It's just about taking what we've learned, history, and moving forward with it and trying to figure out now what we can do that maybe is better than what it was before COVID. I have some friends who have mentioned that they have really, really enjoyed the quiet and the isolation, and they are actually worried, their words, that they're going to get trapped back in the rat race. That's what's going on for them. And we have some control over our lives, don't we? I mean, we have choices. That's our control. We have choices to make. And so each of us has to figure out what it is that we want, what we're going to take with us from this past year and a half to bring forward, what we can let go of, how we want it to look, and how we want our own lives to look. Change is possible. And I, again, am only suggesting that we not ask for normal. Let's face it, what is normal anyway, right? We all have our ideas about what that is, but is there anything really that's normal in our lives? I mean, we are constantly changing and growing and moving forward, and so we have to learn to adapt. All right, well, that's it. That's my soapbox for today. Thanks for listening. I want to remind you that I started a live and free questions for tarot guidance on Thursdays, along with the Facebook thing on Mondays. But Thursdays, I'm on YouTube. And so check me out at Jill Amy Sager. Hop on those free live sessions. You can come and ask a question. You can ask it of worldly issues or, of course, personal issues. And I'll be there this Thursday from 11:30 to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. All right. Thanks for listening. And please add your comments. Let me know what you think about what I've said today. I'm happy to hear from you. And also, too, if you have ideas, questions that you'd like to ask guidance or anything that I've learned from guidance over the past 40 years or so of listening to their advice, their lessons, their what they want us to know, feel free to jot it down and I'll get you those answers too. All right. Take good care and thanks for listening.